Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss countermeasures of SQL injection. At last we have some of the countermeasures you need to remember. See, there is something called, this is for web developers. Whenever if you want to develop some web application, remember to always validate the input. Validating the input means, see, whatever the input that is supposed to give, suppose the name should be given in this. Suppose this is a website, and if you want to give some name here, it should take and validate this input, and it should take this name only. If you use some SQL statement like select this from this, or some SQL payload like delimiters or 1 is equal to 1, all this should be ignored, or it should be considered a error message should be shown as this is invalid input. Please give us the valid input here. So this should be whenever. So this is for whom? This is for app developers. Whenever they write some website code, they should validate the input, so that so in order to avoid the SQL attack or SQL injection attack. So this is the one thing that we should remember. Specifically, these app developers should consider. Then there is something called avoid use of dynamic SQL statements. See, here let's take an example of search. What this search? So you use in Amazon, in Flipkart, we use this search input, right? What this does? It is something called dynamic SQL statements. It doesn't validate whatever we are giving. It will just give out whatever we input, it will give out the result. So whenever you develop some website or writing the code, you should not use dynamic SQL statements for search. Even for search also, it should validate the input. So we can't able to use the SQL injection or SQL statements. So these are the two things that you should remember. So before coming to this, I will show you something. This is SQL statement only. It will act as a SQL. Suppose takes the example of a function. In any of the program, there is a function, and whatever inside the function, it will be executed, right? Similarly, we have something called create procedure in SQL database. While writing the MySQL, by using this create procedure, what we can do by writing the backend code for the SQL database, we should use this technique. We can use some parameters like city, varchar, 30 characters, and select star everything from customer tables where city is equal to city. Here, what user will give? He can able to provide that city name only. He can't able to, if we give we use procedure and we use these parameters, whatever the user can able to give input, he can give that particular input only. He can't able to manipulate your code, can't able to use the SQL injection and get access to that database. Prepared statements with parameterized queries in your web app. Create stored procedures. These what is parameters? Here you can see, right? Suppose in this example, we have given a parameter city. Whatever the argument we give, suppose this is the London, it will be stored in this city parameter. So whenever we write this code, we should use this create procedure technique. So see, stored procedure in the database to enforce correct input types. So these are the, I think you got the how we can utilize these create procedure and parameters to validate the input. So these are the things we can use. Then of course, disable the error message. Why we need to disable the error message? Because we can able to get so many details from error message. So if we disable this detailed error message, the one who conducting the SQL injection can't able to get so many details about that particular database. So then of course we have something called using web application firewall, and log errors. So what are these things of firewall? What it can do? It will discard any of the malicious code or these attempt whenever hacker or attacker try to get access to our database. Then of course log errors. See, in OWASP I explained something called security logging and monitoring failures. What this security logging and monitoring failures means? See, what this does, there is something called log files, which stores the all these login and logout activity. With the help of those details, we can figure out whether attack is being conducted to our database in real time or not. We can able to figure out that, we can able to stop that SQL injection attack or any kind of attack to our database in real time. So that's why log files are necessary. So these are some of the countermeasures we can use in order to avoid this SQL injection attack.
That's it from this video. Thank you so much.